here, you can just tell me to proceed on. So without further ado, Pam, go ahead and take it away.
I'm trying to get to your slide.
Can you see my screen, Pam?
I can see your screen, but I can't move the slide.
No, I have to move them for you.
Okay, cool beans.
Because if you can't share the screen, it won't let you.
Give me one. Go one back, please.
Sure.
Hi everyone. Sorry for the snafu. It's always something when it's presentation time. I am Pam Walker Smith, project coordinator for the Department of Procurement Services. I manage and maintain the City of Chicago's vendor database, and I'm going to walk you through eProcurement 101, how to bid in eProcurement and how to utilize iSupplier. Next. At a glance, there'll be an overview and how to access iSupplier portal with online bidding, how to register if you have not already, how to view bids and solicitations, how to respond to a solicitation, and as Jackie said, we will ask and answer questions at the end of this presentation. eProcurement, it was established in 2017 up under Rahm Emanuel's administration. It is our ERP of Oracle, which is our financial management procurement system we lovingly call F&PS. It applies the web technology to the acquisitions of goods and services provided by our vendors. The iSupplier portal is your full service resource for vendors doing business with the city. All bids, RFPs, and queues are electronic and are advertised through our eProcurement. There are no more paper bids. Next, please. You must be a registered vendor to access the iSupplier portal online, which is our eProcurement system for all purchasing activities. As a registered vendor, caveat in the iSupplier portal, you're able to view and respond to bids and solicitations online, view orders, past and present, payments and invoices. You can update your company information, your vendor. It's the terminology change when we went from paper bids to electronic bids and e-procurement and Oracle. So a lot of the terminology changed. You'll hear me interchangeably say supplier and or vendor, one and the same. You're able to manage your supplier record by updating or changing your contacts, your address, phone number, and email. To assist vendors with the transition in iSupplier and online bidding, the city has developed what we call the microsite. It is a website that is your how-to manual for e-procurement. Its web address is www.chicago.gov/e-procurement. Next. Security. Your information is secure. The city takes seriously security very seriously, ensuring that your information is encrypted. We use the protocol of HTTPS colon. Bid solicitations are not visible to employees or vendors prior to the bid opening. Your active bid, it is secure. Next. Login and registration. Existing vendors, those vendors who currently have a vendor number with the city of Chicago, but are not registered as an iSupplier vendor, you must register. For new vendors, those who do not have, and those who do not have a vendor number with the city, you too must register. What is needed at new vendor registration is a W-9, a PDF of your W-9. You must upload it to your registration. If you do not have an attached W-9, your registration will be rejected and forwarded back to you requesting an upload of your W-9. This is what the microsite looks like. The microsite, again, is your how-to manual for eProcurement and iSupplier. On the orange ribbon above, you'll see to the left, to the right, online training material. Click that link for assistance in iSupplier. Next, please. Vendor registration. Here on this landing page, we show you who are our existing sister agencies, being city colleges, CHA, Park District, public schools, CTA, McPeer, PBC. There are sister agencies. If you have a vendor number with these agencies, it's only for those agencies. Your vendor number does not collaborate with the city of Chicago with any of our sister agencies. If you currently have a vendor number, you've done business with the city before, or years ago, you acquired a vendor number, but you never got a contract, you still have a vendor number. Here, you would click the orange button that reads Request iSupplier Invitation. So vendors that have an existing vendor number, they must request an iSupplier invitation. Next slide, please. For vendors who do not have an existing vendor number, you must click the orange button that reads New Vendor Registration. And up under each orange button, there is a verbiage there that will show you how to request an invitation or show you how to register. Next button. Current bids and solicitation opportunities. This orange button here will take you to our abstract page, which views our most current bid and solicitation. Next button. It looks like this. The blue form down at the bottom is our abstract page. And on it, it entails and or details what is the next, well, not the next, but our active solicitations, not opened yet for bid. But when they open, you can certainly bid on them. From left to right, you have your department, the event, and the event is a type. So for here, the example shows the events are commodities or construction or even a delegate agency. The program model, procurement does not utilize that function. The solicitation number is the number of the RFQ or the RFP if it is a request for proposal. The specification number for the RFQ, the solicitation title, the date of advertisement is the day it's going to appear in the Sun-Times newspaper. The supplier response start date is the same date that it appears as advertisement in the paper. Your supplier response due date is the date of the bid opening, the day that the bid will be read. The deadline for questions is the definitive date that you must submit any question that you may have for the RFQ that you're going to be submitting. You cannot go past that date. The questions will not be answered. The column before that is protected markets. And in the protected markets, it would be like a MBI or SBI or a target market. And then the next column, details, where you see the icon of the eyeglasses, you will get a PDF of the solicitation. Next slide. Here is a vertical view of the horizontal view that we just looked at. My screen is kind of small and everything is tiny. But on this landing page, again, it gives the same information that was in the table view and a horizontal view. And below that is when you click on the glasses, you'll get a PDF of the solicitation. That is an example of what the solicitation would look like. Next slide. Logging in, very important, guys. Once you have registered and you've received your temporary password to get into Oracle, you will obtain 2 folders. Sometimes in customer support, we are notified that the vendor only has 1 folder. So in the event that you have logged in, you have signed up, you registered, your registration has been approved, you got your email from Workflow Mailer with your temporary password, you change your password to your permanent password and you go to log in and you do not have 2 yellow folders, please contact customer support at cityofchicago.org. But in the event that all goes well, you have 2 yellow folders. The first folder is your iSupplier portal with invoice creation folder that will entail all things about your vendor records, payments, and financing. And your second folder is your online bidding folder, and that will be your repository for any solicitations that you may bid on. Next slide. In this example here, it is showing you that where to the left is your main menu with your 2 yellow folders and the options that you have to choose from, as well as your work list. Right now, just starting off, once you log in for the first time, your work list is blank. Well, it's not filled, but it will be filled as you continue to do business with the city. Your online discussions with the procurement specialist for a solicitation and or your quote for the solicitation that you have an active bid on, they will reside right there at your work list. And below that, where it reads negotiations, that's where your active solicitations will also reside. And this is where you will go to click on it to open it up, to finish it, or even to look at it to make sure that it's complete. So that's where your active solicitations will reside. Next slide. The table legend. So once you have bid on a solicitation, again, here is a page of all active and or solicitations that may be in a draft. So the legend reads response number, response status, supplier site, your solicitation number, the title, RFQ, and the time left before the bid opens. The response number, that is the number that you're going to receive once you have entered it, once you have gone into the RFQ number and you acknowledge that you want to submit or that you understand the terms and terminology, that the paragraph that's going to be presented on the first page of that solicitation. Once you check that box, now you are considered interested in submitting a bid solicitation. Once you hit save, you're going to acquire a response number, and that's your response number for that particular solicitation. The response status is very, very important. Active means that you have submitted a solicitation. Required, resubmission required, that means that something has occurred since the last time you were in that solicitation. So for this example, it now reads at the solicitation number 6187, 2. That means that there has been an amendment. So let's just take, for example, you submitted an active solicitation, and then an amendment was produced by the procurement specialist. That RFQ number, let's just take the top one. That RFQ number, that solicitation number is 7. It's going to turn to 7, 2, 1. So right down below that where it reads 6187, they just had processed another addendum, and it's now 6187, comma 2. You must acknowledge your addendum. If not, your bid is not complete. So you have to do that. So it's very important that you are cognizant of your response status. What is not here is a response status of draft. Oftentimes we have vendors who say, I submitted my bid, but in actuality, their response status reads draft. That means you have not submitted your bid. It's still in draft. It's still in draft. So you have to go back in, go to the very last page, and follow the instructions on submitting an active bid. Okay, next. Terminology changed, as I said. So, mm, when you want to search for a particular solicitation that may not be here in your negotiations tab because you haven't yet went in to look for that particular solicitation that is up for bid, you can search for it. And by searching, you can search by title, which is the highlighted blue where the arrow is pointing, and title means specification. So you can search by the specification number, or you can choose the second option, number, which is your RFQ number. So you can search by spec number, or you can search with the word title, or you can search by your RFQ number with the word number, and then you would hit the go button and it'll produce the solicitation. Next, please. Once you have located the RFQ that you're interested in, you must select it by the circle below the word select, and above that, you must click the response button. When you click the response button, it will automatically add you as the vendor to our bid tabulation. Next. Once you are in, this is where you have to acknowledge or click on the I have read and accepted the terms and conditions. You select the button and then you hit the word accept. Right at that time, you are now an interested vendor in this particular solicitation. Hit next. On this landing page here, we have complete requirements on our header tab. Now, you have two folders here. You logged in, you went to online bidding, you search for your solicitation number, it populates, you then get the terms and conditions page, you accept it, and now you're here in this landing page, which is our header tab. The header tab houses all the requirements that are required from you, vendor, to provide within the solicitation. This itself is not the solicitation, it is just a requirement that you must provide pertaining to the solicitation. Here on this page, you will see white boxes. All white boxes must be filled in. None can be blank. In the event that you may think you filled them all out, and then you are done, you put in your proposal numbers and everything, and then you get to the last page and you want to submit your solicitation, but you get red arrows at the top of your page. Come back here to the headers tab and ensure that all your white boxes are filled in. Particularly on this page, the white box that is currently not filled in, that's your EDS number. Two things. For vendors who are requesting an invitation and or those vendors who are registering for the first time, you must upload for your vendor record a W-9. For solicitation, you must enter your EDS number and you must upload your EDS certification letter. So again, that white box that is currently does not have anything in it is requiring your EDS number. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, but for construction, it gets a little trickier, being that the requirements for a construction contract are many, and the pages can only hold so much. So in the middle of this page, if you are bidding on a construction contract, be aware that you'll see a little box that's going to read pages 26 through 50, and those there will be more white boxes and that needs yes no answers too. So be aware of that. That too will cause an error message. If you are not cognizant of it and you think that you completed your registration and you get those error messages at the top, it means that there is something missing. So always go back to your header page and ensure that you have completed all the white boxes that are required by the vendor. Next slide. You're going to have to upload attachments. You're going to have to upload your insurance certificate, your EDS, your signature pages, and any other pertinent information that is part of the requirement that we're asking of you. You're going to have to upload those as a PDF. Here, add attachments, where it says add attachment, you'll click that button. You'll enter the spec number and a colon and what it is that you're attaching. Spec number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, colon insurance, so on and so on, EDS certification, um, contract signing, whatever it is that you have to upload, you would identify it by its spec number and what the document the name of the document you are uploading. Next slide. This is your second tab. The first tab is header, full of information. The second tab is lines, your proposal page. Okay. This sample here only has 2 lines, and all you have to do is enter what is the quantity or what is the quote price per the line item, whatever that it is requested. Here, estimated quantity is already filled in and populated by the system. You enter in the white boxes what that means to you numerically, and that will be your proposal, and it will add it. The system will do the math for you and give you a final quote value. Next page. At this point, save and save often. When you get in the header tab, save. Your response status is going to always be a draft up until you submit. Even if you have a draft and there has been an addendum in place, that draft is going to change to resubmission required. Okay, so be cognizant of your response status. But above, again, your confirmation, once you save because you completed the proposal page, you'll get your quote number. Even if you have to go back in because you want to change it, your quote number remains the same. Next page. Items to note. Responses must be submitted through eProcurement. There are no more paper bids. Do not wait until the last minute, please. Start the previous day or start days that when it hits the paper and you know there's 30 days before this bid is going to open. Don't wait till the 29th day, please, because you don't know what The requirements are, if you did not print out the PDF copy of the solicitation, if you have not uploaded any of the documents that you need to provide, the day that the bid opening is not the day to work on obtaining an active solicitation. So get started early and complete it as early as possible. Addendum. Again, they must be acknowledged in the system and provided. Responses, fill out all your PDF forms, scan and upload as an attachment. And also fill in the total price in the line provided. So there are some RFQs that, well, no, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. RFQs and Ps, RFPs, request for proposal, they have a price sheet. So you would list all your pricing on the sheet that you're going to have to upload, and it's inside of the proposal. But on the electronic system, the system wants a number there. You must enter 0.01 and then enter your pricing on the sheets that are provided within the RFP. For groups, mainly construction, some commodities, or maybe some work services require groups as well, like, well, vehicles and heavy equipment, but some commodities may be in groups as well. Either way, if you're not bidding, you can bid all lines. All lines must be bid, but you may not be bidding on all groups, right? You have to put something in the box. So we require 10 zeros and a 1. 0.9 more zeros and a 1. In the event that you run into any kind of snafu that you can't not get yourself out of, contact customer support at cityofchicago.org. They will provide assistance to you, and what they can't provide, they will send that up to level 2 customer support, and assistance will be provided for you, vendor. Next. Online discussion. Online discussions, so on this landing page here, over to the far right, in action, online discussions is the first default choice that, within this field. Select online discussions and then you will hit go. Online discussions will be discussions that you, vendor, will have with the procurement specialist of this solicitation. When and if you have to attend a pre-bid conference, you'll meet the using department that's letting out the solicitation. You'll meet the procurement specialist who is processing the solicitation. You'll meet engineers and project managers from the using department. They're not who you're supposed to talk to concerning the solicitation. Your conversation concerning the solicitation itself is strictly between yourself and the procurement specialist, and that is through online discussion. Because online discussion is our transparency between the vendor and the procurement specialist of any questions that you may have. Speaking to questions in online discussion, let's say 7 or so, three vendors have questions pertaining to this same solicitation. Those questions are answered and then compiled into one with the answers, and that becomes an addendum. So that is why it is very important that, one, you attend a pre-bid conference if there is one for a particular solicitation, and 2, that you be mindful of your response status. If it reads resubmission required, that means, again, that there is an addendum to the original solicitation number. Next, please. Here, it is showing that how you send an email to the procurement specialist with your new message. You would then open it up, click new button, new message, and then you would put in the spec number and the title of your question. And then you, of course, in the big box, you'll write your message in. This message is going to go directly to the procurement specialist. It doesn't even present a name to you because the system knows who the specialist is for this particular RFQ in FMPS. So you don't have to worry about whom you're sending it to. The system knows that it's going to whomever the procurement specialist is, and they will send you back a message when you send them a message, and it looks as you see it here on the screen, to and from. Next slide. When there is an amendment, and it reads, your status reads, requires resubmission. When you go into it, when you click on that solicitation number, it's asking you right here to acknowledge the amendment that is there now. It says negotiation 6196 has amendments that require your acknowledgement. Do you want to proceed? Yes, you do. Once you do that, the next time you go in and look at the solicitation, it's going to be 6196, 1. So remember from the beginning of the presentation, I stated that once there is an amendment, the number has the RFQ number, then has a comma, and then whatever next amendment number it is. And one of the examples, it had comma 2. So there were 2 amendments, 2 things changed. So be cognizant. Next, please. Now here's the meat, your electronic signature. So Oracle, play a trick on us. Instead of following 1, 2, 3, the box at the top, check the box and then enter your name and then your title, you would think that would be the way to go, right? No, it wants you to enter your name first, and then it wants you to enter your title, and then you can select the box. And I think that we get a lot of customer support issues with this part because the vendor says, I can't submit my bid. You see at the bottom of this page, submit is to the far right. Well, if you check the box and then enter your name and your title, that submit button is going to be grayed out. It's not going to highlight until you follow the order for which the system wants it to be, which is enter the name, enter the title, and then select the box. And then your submit button will be highlighted and you can submit your solicitation and your response status will be active. Next slide, please. Again, so make sure you completed your signature. If you didn't, you're in draft and not active. You want your draft, your response status to read active. You will receive a confirmation quote submission notification to your email. You must check for addendum that may be issued after you receive the confirmation. And again, we can't stress it enough. Resubmission required must be adhered to. Next slide. On the microsite, the iSupplier portal, when you select on the orange ribbon, online training materials, you have those 2 circled items are important to you, vendor. One is all about the submission. The one to the left is all about your vendor record, where you can go in and update. You can add contacts and give them access to iSupplier as well. And anything financial. Well, you can look at past and present receipts and you can look at past and present invoices if you've done business with the city. Caveat here. You started on a bid. You started it. And now you got to go out of town. Something has happened and you can't complete it. You can't let anybody else, any one of your colleagues cannot complete your started solicitation. Your colleague would have to have their own access and they'd have to start the solicitation over. What you can do for them is print out the pages that you filled out and they can use that to fill in for you, but it can't, only one individual who has access to the system can submit an active solicitation. Two can't work on one. Two cannot. So be aware of that. To the far right, all things pertaining to the solicitation, it's provided for you here. Note, everything that is for those items that are written, click on the written word, you'll get a PDF of the how-to. If you click video, you'll get a video of that for which is written. So either way, we're providing you the information if you want to read it or if you want to watch it. Okay, that's what this is for. Next slide. If you have any questions or if you have some concerns, if something happened while you were filling out your solicitation, or if you can't find how to register, please always contact our customer support at chicago.gov, or you may call 312-744-HELP. Our training materials are either as a document or as a video, and it will assist you from login all the way to submission of an active solicitation. Any questions that you might have regarding the solicitation, do an online discussion to the procurement specialist. Do not forget that for whatever you're doing, if you want to go into the solicitation and or if you want to do an online discussion, you will have to hit go. Okay, so if you select something and you can't figure out why is it still looking at you, if there's a go button next to it, hit that button. And there's a link down at the bottom of the presentation that will take you to our microsite, the orange ribbon, iSupplier and online bidding. Next slide. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Pam, for that great presentation. We will open the session up for questions. We do have 2 questions. I just want to let everybody know that you can fill the Q&A panel out with your question, and Pam will answer it. One person put, how can you confirm that your registration is complete?
It'll be received in the prospective. Now it depends on how you register. If you are submitting, if you are a vendor who requests an invitation, that goes to our customer support level 1, and then it will go to level 1 will take all the information provided by you vendor, and it will go to level 2. Level 2 will then search the vendor database with the information provided by level 1, and the contact name will be registered with their email address, and they will receive an email from Workflow Mailer with their temporary password. The same thing for a new vendor who is registering. When you click the new vendor registration, you're going to have to fill out a form. and that is where you're going to have to upload the .pdf of your W-9. As long as that's there, your registration will be approved. Once approved, you too will receive an email from Workflow Mailer with your temporary passport.
Also, oh,
Well,
I'm sorry. Did you have something else to add to that?
I'm in the Q&A and I see a question that reads, I'm confused on what active means. Usually that is the day that the bid opens. Can you please clarify? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Active means that in the solicitation and iSupplier act on the online bidding where you're at to look at your solicitation and your quote number. Active means when you hit submit, your response status is active. That's very important. You want to see that. Usually that is the day that the bid opens. No, ma'am. Bid opening is what is that terminology. The bid is open. Active does not mean that the bid opens that day. Active for the solicitation for the system means that you have provided an active solicitation and that your bid will be read. That's something big.
There was another question. Did you get that one? We have a vendor number with CPS, but would also like to do business with the city.
So if you are not a registered vendor with the city already, you will have to register as a new vendor. So you would go to new vendor registration and register. Click that, click the new vendor registration button. And again, as I stated, that's going to bring you to a registration page where you have to fill all that out and upload a .pdf of your W-9. Your registration will be received by the clerical support staff that handles vendor registration. And if as long as all documentation that we request is within the registration, it will be approved. And then you'll receive an email from Workflow Mailer with a temporary password. You can begin. Again, CPS is one of our sister agencies, and we do not collaborate on that end where if you have a CPS vendor number, it can also be a vendor number for the city of Chicago. No, not at all. There are two different vendor numbers, two different procurements as well.
All right. Doesn't look like we have any additional, but just just so that we are sure. If you want to say any last minute updates or give tips or anything, feel free to use that time, Pam, to do that now while we wait to see if there's anyone else that has any additional questions. So if there are not, I first want to thank you for attending today and giving the great information. And hopefully they will be able to take what you have given them and create a partnership with the city of Chicago where they are able to secure various contracts and bids. But feel free to take it away and give your closing remarks.
Well, thank you very much for attending our eProcurement 101. We endeavor to amaze our vendors with our new technology with in online bidding. Again, paper bids are not acceptable. So when if don't be, from the time that the bid opens, begin as soon as you can to start working on your solicitation. Print out the PDF so that you know what is required of you, um, so that you know what pages you're going to have to sign. And then you can go in, because now you're familiar, you can go into FMPS with your temporary password, and or if you've already, if you've already logged in and you have your permanent password, you can go in and start working on the solicitation. The most difficult part of it all will possibly be the your line when you're going to what numbers you're entering into your quotes. So it's very important. If it's groups, all lines must be bid, so no lines can be blank. For RFPs, it's 0.01, and for groups, it's 10 zeros and a 1. And again, discussions are held only with the procurement specialist via online discussion. And happy trails to you in your bidding and or your registration. And welcome to the City of Chicago FMPS online bidding portal.
All right, thank you so much. I don't see any additional questions at this time. So I want to definitely say that I sent out information in the chat regarding where you can find a copy of the PowerPoint and a copy of the recording. And I also put the reminder in there to save the date for our construction summit, which will be coming up in February. We're trying to secure February 2nd. So if you would like to have some opportunities and some more discussion for networking and with the government entities, feel free to sign up for the DPS alerts and you will know when that event will take place. Therefore, you will be able to register. So we thank you so much. And hold on just a second. We thank you so much. And we want to make sure that you stay safe and stay healthy so that you can participate in a lot of the great things that we have planned for our citizens and the business community of the city of Chicago. Thanks so much and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Jackie.
We'll close out at this time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.